I remember being asked once when I was about 3, "Can you hear the beat of this song?" My brother and father looked at me intently. I had no idea, so my brother showed me how. I didn't realize it, but he had planted a seed in me that would influence the way I interact with music forever. I have always loved listening to music and can remember the vinyl albums that my parents used to play and the cassette tapes and compact discs that meant so much to my brother and me. This story is not about my love of listening to music, but rather my passion for playing it. I was about 7 years old when I began to play the drums. My parents couldn't afford much, and I knew that asking for a drum kit was out of the question. I couldn't buy one, so I had to think about my options and get creative. The first drum that I ever played was a tin coffee can. It had a plastic lid and was filled with hundreds of coins that I had saved over the years. For drumsticks, I had wooden spoons. I played along with my favorite songs and created my own beats. But let's fast forward a bit. I didn't get my first real percussion instrument until I was 18 years old and attending college. My first set of drums were given to me by my best friend Tony. They are a very small pair of bongos. I played these drums almost daily. When I first began to play, I can honestly say I was not very good. Sometimes I played with my hands, other times I used, oddly enough, metal spoons to make faster beats. Dinner, anyone? One evening, as I was pounding away with drumsticks, a neighbor of mine very bluntly asked, "Can you please stop playing your bongos? They're really loud, and it's hard to concentrate." Another time, I was sitting outside of a rented cabin at a resort in the desert while playing my Latin percussion bongos. A teenage girl walked by and said, "Those are so loud," and rolled her eyes, and she walked away. I let her comment stop me from playing that day, and I regret that. I never let it stop me from playing again. When you play in front of people or with other people, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position where people can and do judge how you play. As I practiced, I became better, and my worries about other people's judgment faded away. I began to embrace the moment and get swept up in everything. That was the true joy of playing to me. At 21, I finally purchased my first set of full drums. Playing a full kit with 4 limbs requires complex body movements and coordination. I had to practice a lot to get better. I shouldn't call any of my playing practice because it was simply me playing, and it was really very casual. Over time, I would get much better. After turning 30, I began acquiring electric percussion instruments. I wanted to diversify my collection, so I bought an electric drum set and eventually a beat-making pad. These types of drum sounds are typically used in rap, hip-hop, and club styles of music. Presently, I would consider myself to be a good drummer. I have played live many times and recorded percussion on a full-length studio album. I've never earned any money playing the drums, and I probably never will. Playing the drums has always been a hobby. I play for the joy of experiencing the moment. To me, that's what music is about. My hope is that my children can have their own experience of joy and love with music in whatever capacity. One morning, I walked into the music room of our home and found my then 2-year-old daughter seated in front of the drum kit, banging away without a care.